Thanks so much for the awesome questions and feedback on these videos. It's exciting to start talking more openly about life with high sense perception, being able to see things, right? And there's so many of us. There's just so many of us. So thank you for the feedback. I had a really great question about what happens to the soul after we die. Now, I'm going to answer this from my own perspective. Take what resonates, let go of what doesn't. Always. You're the guru. You are your own guru. Okay, so take what resonates with you and let go of what doesn't. Now, I'm going to share this not only from my field time as a paramedic, clairvoyant paramedic, where I watched a lot of people die, like a lot. I actually, for those of you guys who don't know, when I was about 19, I had an overdose and I was in a not so good spot. I was really reactive, using a lot of substances because I didn't understand how to be in this reality with all of this sensory information. And I was just over it. So I had an overdose and I had my own near-death experience. So I had the light at the end of the tunnel experience. I saw energy and heard, and I was given a choice. Like, if you come any further, then you're not going to be able to go back. But the choice I was given was, if you choose to go back, you're going to use these abilities to help a lot of people. And so obviously I chose to come back, right? That experience really shaped largely my life, right? And how I've continued to move forward and navigate being so ultra sensitive. When it comes to death, from what I've seen and experienced, there's the shedding of the body. And again, it's like taking off a heavy coat. I want to reiterate this over and over because yeah, there may be some pain in the moment, say like an incineration, right? That's going to hurt for a second, or whatever kind of death, you know, maybe fall and splat. It's like, whatever, there's going to be a moment of pain. But then after that, it's taking off a heavy coat, and the thread of consciousness, meaning who you are, who you know yourself to be, your likes, your dislikes, your memories, everything from this lifespan stays with you, okay? And then I experienced a life review, and I've seen a lot of people experience what's called a life review. And it literally just looks like sitting in front of a giant movie screen. But what's different, you're watching the entire lifespan. So every single thought, action, word, deed that you ever did during this lifespan gets somehow compressed or consolidated down into what seems, what's relatively is short seeming, but there's no such thing as time when we're out there. And the cool thing may not be cool for some, but we get to see and experience how every single action impacted not only ourselves, but how it ripples out and affects every single person that was ever touched by that decision. We have to feel their experience, see their experience, and live through their experience before that life review comes to completion. Okay, so after the life review, and the whole point of that's not like punitive, it's really it's from what I was able to see, since this is a dualistic paradigm, there's light and there's dark, there's high and there's low. It's about observation. It's like, oh, I chose this and this is what happened, right? Because this incarnation is all about choice, or a lot about choice, and having the experience with those choices. So we can learn, right? There's karmic things that balance in, there's, you know, all kinds of stuff that comes in after the fact, but we go through the life review. And beyond that, then depends on the different experience. Some people just go chill with their family members and the religious archetypes, and they just want to like debrief and hang out for an extended period of time, okay? Beyond that though, the thread of consciousness stays intact indefinitely. It goes into the higher self, which is stored in the Oversoul. An Oversoul just looks like an axon, which has the dendrites. So think of a neuron, right? So you have the axon and then you have the dendrites. And what I'm talking about is data, okay? That's all I'm talking about. So once we get out of the body, we get out of the rational mind, and we get up into the meta level of quantum physics, the electromagnetic fields, and how this reality is actually formed, it starts to not make a lot of logical sense. And you want to be, well, wait a second, I want to put this in a box and understand it. But it's like, the higher we go, the more data comes in, and it's not something that the brain can fully comprehend or compute, okay? Just understand that the whole thing is so beautifully orchestrated and natural that it makes sense when we're out there, okay? So we shed the body, we stay intact, we go through our life review, we look at, Could have done that different, or, oh, that was awesome, right? Or both. From there, we can chill, like with family, religious archetypes. And from there, all of that data starts to get essentially uploaded into the Oversoul. Now, in the Oversoul is what I'm talking about, that axon is just a huge storage unit, okay? If you think about a computer, it's like a mainframe. All of the data from all of your lives that ever have been or will be are stored in there, okay? And there's thousands of parallel lives that you're living right now. It's not past life, it's not future life, it's concurrent life. And that's part of what I'm talking about, where it's like, it's hard to understand with the human mind, right? But once we ascend beyond and get out of just this linear time frame, get out of the sensory experience and expand into a higher state of awareness, then it makes sense, because it's just like, oh, everything is happening simultaneously, right? And it's so amazing how everything and nothing exist at the exact same time. From beyond the Oversoul, then it just gets into higher and higher and higher and higher and higher states of reality that, again, don't make sense to the logical mind. But just know that there's thousands of existences that you're currently experiencing, and all of that data gets stored in what I've seen, or is known as the Oversoul. I hope this helps. It's probably going to open up a lot of questions like, what is this chick talking about? But again, I've been researching this stuff. Again, I've had my own near-death experience. I've watched this in countless people. I've done years and years and years of exploratory journey work in shamanism with plant medicines and just with all different types. So it's like I'm very well versed at the topography out there. I'm actually a lot more comfortable out there in the meta than I am in this physical form, because it's so funny. I have like enough energy to fill a stadium, and I chose a 5'1" body. This always just cracks me up. I'm like, oh my God. I remember when I was a little kid and I knew I wasn't my body, just my body, and I would try to pull my arm out. Like, you know, when you pull your sleeve out, like your arm out of the sleeve of a sweater, I would sit there and try to pull my soul out, because I knew I was just so much more, right? So there's a lot of ways that we can continue to conversate about this. I just wanted to kind of answer that question for my friend who asked it, and I hope this makes sense. If not, ask more clarifying questions and we'll keep powwowing. I'll go all the way out there with you, or all the way down and in, like whatever you want, and we can do both. Love you guys.